Okay, so by now this is somewhat dry. Doesn't need to be completely dry, so we'll go ahead right now. I'm gonna put this in a cup. And as you see, I'm wearing protective gloves right now. And I'll also put on my protective eyewear because right now I'm going to be working with a chemical. This is called chalk. I don't know, it's not ordinary chalk you put on your fingers to, avoid slipping, but honestly I have really no idea what it is. the medieval recipe called for something called quicklime, and I have no idea what that is, but I looked it up and this is supposed to be somewhat similar. So let's get to that. We'll going to add a bit of this. Yeah, it's a big portion, so I think it'll probably take a little bit. But as you'll see in a minute, this will pretty much melt the curds. It'll turn into a gray paste. I should get some in the bottom. I should probably use this as a sink for this. So by now I made this into a paste. It's not lump free at all. There's definitely a lot of lumps, but I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I might have screwed up with something, I don't know, but we'll work with the lumps. Now I'm going to apply it to the shield. This is the almost finished shield. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna paint the glue on the on this side. I already did this side. This is linen. Linen is supposed to be the fabric they actually used in in the Middle Ages and earlier, but I don't know anything about fabric either, so this is just something I bought online. I don't know if it's really the same thing, but I hope so. It's gonna be, at least I'm trying to be, historically accurate. But it is a bit lumpy. Ow. God damn it. Just tore a hole in my glove because of a nail. There's a groove here. I'm just gonna add the big lumps down there. Okay. So this is my second part of my fabric. I have another one to go on top of these two. So this doesn't have to be all that accurate and great. But this is going to, if it has a lot of floss, it will reflect on the upper layer. So I'll try to make this pretty smooth. And you also want the glue to actually grab onto the fabric, so definitely want to press it down. So as you can see by now, I finished adding the linen, and I also drew the artwork in rough form. I can't really get a very nice picture with my phone, but what we have here is our two ravens, obviously symboling Hugin and Munin. This artwork is from an old coin minted by, I don't remember who, but I think he was the King of York, a Viking king. I like this quite a lot because it was also used by a lot of other Viking chieftains and kings. Around the edge I have a snake, symbolizing the Midgard serpent. I drew this myself. I'm not a very good artist, but I think it looks alright, and I think it looks kind of Nordic. As you can see, this is the tail. It's biting its own tail because the Midgard serpent encircles the earth and bites its own tail. But it goes all the way around the edge. And it's tangled down at the bottom. But the next step is obviously painting this in the true colors. So by now I've started doing the paint job. I've started with the white color. This paint is supposedly Viking paint. I mean, at least I found it on the internet, described as Viking paint. I don't know, their sources or anything, but I'm going with it. What I'm using for this is it's pretty simple. It's just buttermilk and this. I had to write out the name because I couldn't remember it. Ammonium carbonate, which is something you usually use for baking. And to color it, I used chalk, and I just ground it up into this. It makes pretty good white paint, but not, it won't cover that great. You'll have to paint a lot of times. So by now I've moved on to my black paint. This is based off linseed oil, and it is pretty much just that combined with eggs. And I used coal for the color pigment, and I'm definitely sensing that this is another kind of paint than my milk paint, because as you can probably see, the oil it'll spread a lot more. It goes into the fabric and spreads out. It's not as easy to work with as the milk paint, but I think I'm getting pretty good results anyway. I'll have to get another coat of white at some point when this is dry. This also dries a lot slower. So what you're looking at now is the finished paint job. I know that this the second layer of black is not very consistent, but I really feel that this shouldn't look too perfect. I don't know. I might regret it later, but right now, I'm thinking this is as good as it is. The other thing is that it's kind of a bitch to paint with the oil-based paint because it ruins the white if you paint too close. So that might be a reason for it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the shield rim. This is going to be rawhide, and the cheapest way to get rawhide is to buy some of these dog bones. Well, not dog bones, but dog chew bones. This is actually one piece of rawhide, but you just need to put it in hot water. Warm water, and after about a few hours, maybe 1 hour, you'll be able to shape it like you want. This was once like this, but I put it in water and I was able to roll it up. Now my rawhide has been soaked, and I've cut it so that it is roughly 6 centimeters wide, and I'm going to attach the first piece. I'm just going to start at the top. And we'll try to add it. I'm going to use nails to secure it, by the way. So now I only have one thing left to do on this project. I am going to put the shield bus in place. It's been quite a long project for me. I've definitely used quite a lot of time on it. I don't really know exactly how long it took, but I think it took about a month. That's what I'm guessing. These nails are kind of like tacks. I had a bit of trouble finding nails that actually wouldn't just go through the holes with the head. So enough talk. Let's finish this project.